DATV, and the Greater Dayton Area League of Women Voters present Meet the Candidates, your chance to learn about the candidates running for office in the November election.
Hello, I'm Patty Skilkin, and I'm a proud member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton Area, and we are bringing you this discussion today. I'm talking today to two candidates. There are two candidates for the Trotwood Council Ward 2. There's only one opening, so one of them is going to win and one of them isn't. But here's how that's going to go. That job pays about job pays exactly $4,800 a year. As you can tell, these people are not getting rich. They genuinely want to be a public servant. Each candidate is going to get 2 minutes to give you an opening statement, tell you a little bit about themselves. Then we're going to start asking them questions. They'll get 2 minutes to answer each question. And at the end, they'll make a closing statement, and they'll have 2 minutes for that also. We have a timer here who's going to jump up and down and wave flags if they go over their limit. Let's start with Rap. Rap Hankins is candidate number one. Rap, why don't you give your opening statement? 2 minutes to talk to the voters.
First, I want to say good evening and thank you to the Dayton League of Women Voters for inviting me here today and representing myself, the citizens of Trotwood in Ward 2. I am Council Member Rap Hankins. I've been on Trotwood City Council for 16 years. I'm married to Jan Hankins. I've been married to her for 45 years. I want to say that first and foremost, Trotwood is a great community. We're a safe community, and we're a community where people want to live, work, and play. And I think this is a great opportunity not just to talk to voters in Ward 2, but talk to people in the greater Dayton region and say if you're looking for a home, you're looking for a place where home values are at an excellent level, Trotwood is a great place to live. I was looking as I walked the ward and talked to our voters, I basically laid down 3 messages. The first message that I laid to our voters is that our property values in Trotwood are up by 10% across the entire ward. That crime is down by 32% in Trotwood. And for those of you who don't live in my great community, crime in Trotwood has been down for a decade. So when people say, well, you live in Trotwood, and they go, oh, we look at you and say, yes, we live in Trotwood, and we go, oh, why don't you join us? And finally, we want to make the point that in Trotwood, we're creating jobs. We're creating places where people can play, and we're a great community, and I'm excited to be here this evening with a neighbor of mine, and we're going to really explain to you the greatness of our community. So thank you, and please vote for me on November 7th.
Thank you, Rap. Yvette, now it's your turn. You get 2 minutes to make an opening statement.
Hello, Trotwood. My name is Yvette Page, and let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I received my Bachelor of Science degree from Fisk University in Management Econ. I migrated to Trotwood in 1979. For those of you all that lived here, that was a year after the blizzard. I was spared. But let me tell you, with my 3 kids I raised in the Trotwood system, Anthony, Brent, and Monique, they went all the way through high school and they're doing very well. And those are the students you don't hear about or hear much about. But the reason why I moved to Trotwood and have stayed in Trotwood is because I like my neighbors. I absolutely love my city. I had the opportunity to move because with my company that I've been with for 36 years, RAI Incorporated, they asked me to move, but I decided to stay home and stay home in Trotwood with my kids. Through that years, I have seen Trotwood in its good days and its bad days, but regardless of what days they have, they're mine. And I show ownership. And I'll never leave Trotwood. What I want you to know about Yvette, I want you to know my name. I want you to know that I am Yvette Page. There's no I in Page. There's no I in we. I'm here to hear what you want. I'm asking for your vote November the 11th. I hope I have it.
Thank you, Yvette. I'm going to stick with you for our first question.
Sure.
What do you think the most important part of this job would be?
Excellent question, Patty. And I feel like the most important job is to hear the people that have voted for you. You've got to go out there and knock on doors and find out what the people of Trotwood want. I would be your representative. I would be in that council meeting expressing your ideas, your fears, your doubts, what you want to see in your community. And I hope I'm that one. I know God gave me two things. There was 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I plan on using those 2 ears to hear what you have to say and to try to provide the wants and the needs that you will need.
Thank you, Yvette. Rap, same question. What do you think the most important part of the job is?
Ma'am, I think 16 years ago when I first was elected, I thought the most important part of the job was to simply listen to the voters. And I still feel that way, but I've learned that the Trotwood Charter says that the role of an elected official is to create a vision. To create a vision with the city manager, with staff, and with city council and the citizens. The most important thing is to build a team. Many times you hear elected officials say, if I get elected, this is what I'm going to do. What 16 years has taught me is that you can only get things done when you work with your community, when you work with your region, when you work with people in Columbus and Washington, and you listen to the city manager, and you don't actually cross the line between what the vision maker does and what the person that runs the city every day does. So the most important thing is listening to the citizens, implementing their vision, but not being afraid to make decisions when they're unpopular and when they're hard decisions, and working with all the people that make the Miami Valley a great region. So in my mind, that's really the most important thing, and that's what 16 years of experience has taught me.
Thank you. I'm going to stick with you for our next question. What do you think Trotwood's biggest challenges are right now?
Ma'am, Trotwood's biggest challenges are many, and some of those challenges are out of our control. I'm going to say something tonight which I think is going to be very unpopular. And I think that Trotwood has suffered from economic racism. I think that when you look at the demographics of our community, our citizens have many complaints, and they're real. I mean, there's a study that says that if you're an African American, you will travel 5 to 20 miles to shop. And if you're a white American, you will only travel 5 miles to shop. This is not the kind of things that a citizen of the United States should face. What we really want to have is similar amenities that everyone has throughout the entire Miami Valley. Five Rivers Metro, as an example, just did a major study for the strategic plan. And they said, well, Trotwood was the most underserved community in the Miami Valley. We're 24,000 people. Why is that? I mean, basically, we have voted for every levy like everybody else. The libraries themselves, we had to challenge them to complete a library in 2018, and no one else had to do that. So our point is that Trotwood citizens really want the same amenities or equal amenities or similar amenities to everyone else. So our challenges are dealing with the perspective and the idea of who we are as Trotwoodians. And then we have the normal challenges, which are schools, roads, taxes. And these are challenges that we're confronting and dealing with every day. But the first challenge that we have is that our citizens have to have Trotwood pride, and people who deal with our community need to understand that we're a great community and a community that will not quit and will move forward.
Thank you, Rep. Yvette, what do you think the biggest challenges are?
Now, the biggest challenges I have seen, now I haven't held office for 16 years, and I take kudos for the experience that we have in office now. But the biggest challenge that I can see is that we've had large corporations to move. Cut Food has gone. We've had Walmart to move out. We've had Wendy's. All of these are retail establishments that I frequent as a consumer and as a Trotwood resident. Now I have to travel everywhere else to get those amenities. That's the big challenge. I know there could be possibilities if we work with other communities that surround us. They have the new Chipotle's, they have the new Mod Pizza and Rapid Fire, and I want to know, why can't we have that? That's why I'm running. I want to know who, what, why, when, and where. You always ask those questions. When you get those answers, then you're able to move forward. There's a reason for a rear view mirror in a car. It's to let you see what's coming at you. But you also have to pay attention to the front of you to know where you're going and where you want to go.
Thank you. Yvette, let's stick with you here. You can't pick up a paper or turn on the news anymore without hearing about the opioid addiction, especially strong in the greater Dayton area. What do you think government's role is in helping solve this problem?
I really feel that this epidemic is not only Trotwood-wise. We don't have as much as we do in the Dayton area. But I feel like it's an issue that needs to be governed for the people. It is just like anything. It's just like measles, rubella, or anything else. It's an addiction. And it's something that the government needs to take in consideration. But that's not the only thing. There have been other issues that we need to take care of as far as health-wise. I think the people that are affected by this, it's an illness, we need to help them. It's an addiction like any other addiction. Drugs, smoking, drinking. We need to have something in order to help these people and then get them healed so they can be productive citizens. The best thing to do for anybody is to help them, get them well, so they can tell their story. So then you can have other people that are going in that same direction, that they can turn the direction for them and everything. Say, hey, I've come out of this. This is how they did it. This is what the government did to help me to get to where I am. I'm just trying to tell you now. So I think we have an opportunity here to help people. We don't want to turn our backs on them. And I think government has a part in the order to help these people.
Rap, what do you have to say about that?
Ma'am, I'm concerned about the opioid crisis, but I'm also concerned about history. If we go back into 1984, when we had a problem with heroin and crack in the black community, the solution that the state of Ohio and the government had for Trotwood was to locking up my sons and daughters. We had the largest number of black men locked up in America, and they blamed it on the drug issue. Now we have the opioid crisis in Ohio and the United States, and the governor told me that these individuals are sick, that they need health issues. And while I don't disagree with the governor, I think a lesson can be learned that you don't lock your citizens up, that basically you create the means to help your citizens, and that many times the reason citizens are taking opioids are because of the lack of jobs, the lack of hope, and the crisis in society. And those crises, they actually extend along race, class, and economic basis. So the state can spend as much money as they want, but if the state doesn't create the means for jobs and the means for hope and the means that people can get out of the drug addictions that people are taking, then we have a problem. And then secondly, if we don't create a system where people can deal with pain in an intelligent way, and that the health system costs are not so high that we have to go out and take illicit and illegal drugs, the problem won't go away. So government can help, but government needs to create the means, in fact, where citizens can help themselves, and health is something where we have universal health care for all.
Thank you. I'm going to stick with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about food insecurity, which is big in the Dayton area. Dayton is very high on the list in America for this problem. My definition of food insecurity is when somebody doesn't know when, where, or if they're going to have another meal.
Correct.
I can't think of anything more tragic or more basic than just simply not having food to eat.
Correct.
What do you think local governments can do to help this problem?
You know, there are things that local government can do, and there's other things that you don't want local government to do. In Trotwood, we have one grocery store in our community. So when we want to get food, we have to go to Myers outside of our community, Kroger's outside of our community, and many times when local government has gone to local businesses and said, we would like a grocery store directly in our community, the solution has been, well, Trotwood should buy a store of its own and we should open up our own grocery store. I think that that's wrong. And I think you see it on Salem Avenue where people are investing in basically a farmer's market and a grocery store. The role of government is safety, is roads, is basically security. It is the job of local businesses to look at the needs of people in the community, be respectful of those needs, and expect to make a fair profit, not a super profit. We just lost Target in Trotwood, which was a grocery store in our community. We gave them a 10-year tax abatement. At the end of that 10-year tax abatement, they left. They were making $2 million a year, and they left and said, if we leave the community, we can make 5, we can make 10. So while it's important that the people in Trotwood have food securities and we don't have to travel as far as we are now, it's very important that businesses understand that we're a meaningful community, we have income that we can spend, and that I expect business leaders, while they make a profit, to also serve the needs of the people in our community.
Yvette, food insecurity, I bet you've got some thoughts.
Oh, I've got some major thoughts because, and this is kind of dear to my heart because every year my company, we go out, and this year we chose the food bank in Dayton. And to let you know just a little bit about that, we bag book bags for kids to take home that food over the weekend. That food that's taken home by that individual child can feed a family for a weekend. That means mother, father, son, all siblings in the household. That shouldn't be. We should have ways, each community, not just Trotwood, but every community should be feeding into that food bank so we can have enough food for everyone. The individual need of everyone is food. You've got to have water and food. Those are 2 basic things. But I feel that in Trotwood, that's an exploratory area that we need to get involved with, because no child and no human should go unfed, no matter what you do. We have an excellent grocery store in Trotwood, but as I said, we lost cup food. But you know what? There is a need for that, and I think that if we could get that incorporated back and use that facility to give additional food to the people that need it, that's a start.
Thank you. Yvette, you're going to get the first chance to make a closing statement. You have 2 minutes to talk directly to the voters and to ask them to vote for you.
I'm grassroots. First time I've ever done this before, but I have watched my community through the good and the bad. I have opted to stay there no matter what. I'm asking you on November the 11th. I don't have all the answers, but I'll get it for you. Who, what, why, when, and where. I'm going to ask questions if I'm in office. I'm going to listen to what you have to say, and I'm going to voice your opinion. I am supposed to be an elected official, elected for the people. It's not an I with me, it's a we. We can make it in Trotwood. When they tell me Trotwood is this, I said, oh no, you can't talk about Trotwood in front of me. You gotta take that somewhere else. So I'm asking you, I'm Yvette Page. There's no I in Page. I'm asking you to turn the page or turn to page in Trotwood for your next city council. We're going into the direction of a positive Trotwood in 2017. I'm asking you for your vote. It's going to be your decision on November the 11th. Turn to page, the next chapter for Trotwood. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Yvette. You know, I might be wrong, but I think Election Day is November 7th.
November 7th, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
We don't want them missing out on it.
No, that's right. Don't miss the vote. It's November the 7th. You're right.
Rap, this is your chance to talk to the voters. 2 minutes.
Over the last 16 years, it's been my pleasure to go through good and bad times with the people of Trotwood. We've gone through 2 major recessions. We've gone through foreclosures. I've gone through 3 city managers, 4 mayors, and numerous members of city councils. We've lost businesses together, and what I would say to you is these are major challenges that have weakened and crushed many communities. They've not crushed Trotwood. Trotwood is on the move, and Trotwood is coming back. I started my conversation by saying property values are up, crime is down, and that we're creating jobs. Stratocast is a perfect example of that. They bought 3 new businesses all over the Greater Dayton area, but their largest business is in the General Motors business in Trotwood. We've created over 300 new jobs in the community, and the basis of those jobs is to create the exposable income so that we can begin to get retail back and do the things that are necessary in the community. I know that Trotwood is moving in the right direction, and I ask for your vote on November 7th. But more than that, can I take a second and say that when our community grows, you as citizens, the 24,000 of you, get engaged. You get involved. No matter who you elect on November 7th, it's very important that you come to council meetings, that you clean up the community, and you fight to make Trotwood the best community in the Miami Valley. My name is Rap Hankins. I've been on City Council for 16 years. I'm looking to serve you. Please vote for me on November 7th. And we love you.
Thank you, Rap. Everybody, I have to do a little plug for the League of Women Voters. I wouldn't like myself if I didn't. We are a nonpartisan organization. We never support or oppose a political party or a candidate. If you're interested in membership, we want you. Call 228-4041 and we will pounce on you like fleas on a dog. We will come after you. Everybody, be sure if you check your registration. I think that might be too late for that though. Our world famous voters guide will be out in libraries October 9th that week. The early voting starts October 11th at the Board of Elections, and the polls open at 6:30 on Election Day, which is November 7th. I also want to thank all the volunteers here at DATV who make it possible for us to bring you these discussions. They volunteer their time, their expertise, and their equipment, and we say big thank you. That's it for tonight. Good night.